Hey guys, I'm going to do a quick little video about solving with substitution for you. Um, so there's three ways to solve systems of equations, and I want to make sure that we're familiar with all three because you are responsible to know all three. So the first way we learned about solving a system was through graphing. So graphing was the first way to solve a system of equations, okay? The second way we're going to talk about is substitution, and that's what I'm going to show you a quick video on today. The substitution, that's a hard one for me to spell. And then the third way is through elimination, which we'll talk about on Thursday through the elimination method. Okay, so these are the three methods we can use to solve the system. Now, here's the thing. Realistically, you guys can use whatever method you want to. If you like graphing, you can do graphing. If you like substitution, you can do substitution, up to you. However, you need to pick a method, and sometimes it's going to be easier to use one method over the other. So today we're going to look at the substitution method, and I have a very specific way I teach the substitution method. So let's get started. Our first example is if we have the equations y equals -2 and 4x minus 3y equals 18. Okay, so these are our two equations, and what we're doing is we're looking to substitute here. So I always look for the one that has a variable by itself. So as you guys see right here, y is by itself, okay? So we're gonna put that on the left side, so y equals -2, all right? Then the other equation, we're gonna write on the other side, the other equation is 4x minus 3y equals 18. Okay, now here's the problem. We want to solve these equations and find out what is x and what is y. The issue with this one over here, let me get my pointer tool, this one over here is that there's an x and a y. We don't know how to solve the equation with x and y. We know how to solve with just x or just y, but not both. So what we're going to do is when it comes to this one, we know here that y equals -2. So since I know that y equals -2, what I can do is I can take -2 and I can plug it in for y. I can take -2 and plug it in for y. All right, so what I have is I have 4x minus 3, and instead of a y there, I said y is equal to -2, so I'm going to plug in -2. So 4x minus 3 times -2 equals 18. Now this is just a normal equation that we know how to solve because we've been learning to solve these for a while. So I like to draw my little line and then we're going to simplify it. So this is going to be a -3 times a -2 is a +6. So I have 4x plus 6 equals 18. All right, and then I'm going to take 6 away from each side. All right, I'm going to undo addition by subtraction. So I have x equals 12, and now I'm going to divide each side by 4, and I've got x equals 3. X equals 3 is my solution. All right, so x is 3. Y is -2. Now remember, with all of these, your answer has to be an ordered pair. Your answer has to be an x and a y value because it's a point that is the solution. So our solution here is x is 3, because x was 3 here. And then y, what's nice about this one is y is -2. We already know what y is. So my solution is 3, -2. 3, -2. Okay? So this is just a basic, we're talking about this in class, but a basic example of how we do substitution. Another example, and I like to do the T-chart. You don't have to do the T-chart. I just think it's a great way to organize your work that it makes sense. Okay? All right, so our next example, I can take this turn to the next page. There we go. It's a little bit more complicated. We've got 2x minus 3y equals -1, and we've got y equals x minus 1. So we're going to start with this one because y is by itself, so it makes life easier, and we're going to put that one on the left side. So y equals x minus 1. Okay? Over here, I'm going to put 2x minus 3y equals -1. All right. So now we're going to simplify this and we're going to say, okay, I can't solve either one of these because they both have an x and a y. What I can do is say, hey, y is equal to x minus 1. So I can take x minus 1 and I can substitute it in for this y. You see why I do the t-chart? The t-chart's going to help us make things a lot more neat and organized. Now, the thing to remember here is this is not just -3 times the first term, it's -3 times all of what y is. And we're going to put in x minus 1 for y, so we have to put parentheses around it. So what we're going to have is we're going to have 2x minus 3, and then our parentheses, and we're going to have inside this parentheses x minus 1, okay? And that's going to equal -1. All right, so now that I did that, we have all x's and we can actually simplify this. So I'm going to draw my line. First, I'm going to do is I see parentheses, so I'm going to distribute. You need to make sure to remember I'm not just distributing 3 here, I'm distributing a -3 here. So -3 times x is -3x, and -3 times -1 is +3. Then we're just going to bring down the 2x. This equals -1, okay? So then what I'm going to do is these are alike. So 2x, we can do keep, change, change. 2x plus -3x is -1x plus 3 equals -1. I'm going to take -3 away from each side. So I get -x equals -4. -x equals -4. Now, listen, we cannot leave this as a -x. So what we have to do is divide each side by -1. And now I get x equals +4. So here's the thing, x equals +4, but I'm not just looking for x, I'm looking for y too. That's the reason why I like to use these t-charts. We can make a giant circle here. So I know what x is. So for my final answer, I know that x is 4. But I still need to find y. Problem is that y is, we don't know what y is. But now that we know what x is, we can take this 4 and we can substitute the 4 in for x. So I have y equals 4 minus 1. And then I can say, okay, y equals 3. So y equals 3. So that is why this is called the substitution method, because we're finding what we're substituting one variable in for another, finding what's equal to it back in. Okay, so my solution here is 4, 3. So this is just a short little how-to on how to solve systems of equations by substitution. You have a short little practice to do on Khan Academy. And if you have any questions, let me know or come to class ready to talk about them. Have a great day.